Alright, let's talk about what just happened, because if you've been anywhere near social media, a tennis forum, or even just casually scrolling through your phone in the last 48 hours, you've already seen it. The headline, the video, the absolute chaos. And if you somehow missed it, don't worry, we're about to break down every single layer of this thing because this story is way bigger than a trending hashtag. We're talking about Alex's arrival going viral. We're talking about a vlog featuring her and the now iconic duo the internet is calling the SEA-blings. And we're talking about what this all means not just for two extraordinary young women, but for tennis, for Southeast Asia, and for the future of sports media as a whole. Let's start with the thing that caught everyone off guard first, the arrival itself. In professional tennis, we don't usually see airport scenes that look like a rock concert just let out. That's the kind of welcome you reserve for football legends or Olympic gold medalists coming home. But when Alex touched down, the energy was something else entirely. Cameras flashing, fans pressing against every barrier, this overwhelming wave of national pride that you genuinely cannot fake. It wasn't staged. It wasn't a PR stunt. That was real. And the reason it hit so hard globally, because nobody was expecting it. Here's the truth, for a very long time, professional tennis has had a very predictable center of gravity. Europe, the Americas, pockets of East Asia. Southeast Asia has always been on the fringes of that conversation, and talented players from the region were treated like exciting outliers rather than legitimate contenders. Alex is blowing that entire framework apart. She's not climbing the ranks quietly. She's arriving, and she's making sure everyone knows it. But what turned a remarkable moment into a global phenomenon was the vlog. We are living through a genuinely different era of sports fandom. Gone are the days when the only access fans had to their favorite athletes was a sanitized post-match press conference where everyone says the right thing and nobody says anything real. Athletes now control their own narratives, and Alex has mastered that art better than almost anyone in her sport right now. Her latest vlog, the one featuring her close friend and doubles partner Janice Tjen, broke the internet. That's not an exaggeration. The engagement numbers were insane. Comments flooding in from the Philippines, Indonesia, all across Southeast Asia and way beyond. People who have never watched a full tennis match in their lives suddenly found themselves deeply invested in these two women and their journey together. Fans started calling them the SEA-blings, a play on the word siblings, and honestly, it fits perfectly. It captures both the Southeast Asian identity they proudly carry and the genuinely close bond that comes through in every second of that footage. What makes this vlog work so well is exactly what you'd expect from something authentic. It strips away the highlight reel and shows you the actual human beings. We see Alex navigating airports exhausted, laughing at something ridiculous Janice said, talking honestly about the pressure that comes with carrying an entire nation's hopes on your shoulders. And right beside her is Janice Tjen, matching her energy, matching her honesty, equally comfortable being that real with the camera rolling. Their chemistry isn't performed. It was forged in competition, and that's what makes it compelling. These are two women who have faced each other across a net in high-stakes matches and walked away with a mutual respect that eventually turned into one of the most exciting partnerships in women's tennis. The fan response to this vlog tells you everything. People weren't just watching it, they were talking about it, sharing it, writing about it. Because it does something that great content always does, it makes you feel like you're part of something. Alex and Janice aren't just saying thank you for your support in some scripted caption. Through the vlog, they're genuinely including their fans in the journey. The chaos of the arrival, the exhaustion behind the scenes, the laughter in between, all of it says, we see you and you're part of this with us. That's not a marketing strategy, that's a relationship. And it's why major sponsors are paying very close attention right now. And this is the part that really matters. None of this works without what's actually happening on the court. The viral content, the fandom, the cultural moment, it all exists because these two women can genuinely play. So let's talk about the Abu Dhabi Open, because their run there was nothing short of extraordinary. When Alex and Janice decided to team up for the doubles draw at the WTA 500 MUBA Abu Dhabi Open, it was a first. The first time these two Southeast Asian standouts had ever competed as a pair. And the tennis world was curious, sure, but nobody was penciling them in as semi-finalists. Their opening match, a baptism by fire. They drew Leylah Fernandez and Cristina Michele Fernandez, a Grand Slam singles finalist with incredible fight in her game, Michele, a seasoned doubles specialist with championship pedigree. On paper, it was a mismatch. In practice, it was a statement. The first set was tight. Really tight. Alex and Janice fell behind early and the experience gap was showing. But they didn't flinch. They clawed their way back from 0-2 down, held serve when it mattered most, and took the set 7-5 in a display of pure gutsy tennis that had the Abu Dhabi crowd genuinely stunned. The second set went the other way. Fernandez and Michele found their rhythm, dictated the tempo, and leveled things up at 6-3, so it came down to a match tiebreak. 10 points. Winner takes all. Alex and Janice jumped out to 2-0, stretched it to 5-3, hit a nerve-wracking double fault that threatened to unravel everything, and then watched the score creep to 6-6. That's the moment. That's where experience almost always wins. But these two weren't reading that script. Back-to-back net winners, 9-6, match points, done, final score 7-5, 3-6, 10-6. That win wasn't luck, that was character. They carried that momentum into the quarterfinals against the second-seeded team, Zhuang Xiua and Christina Buxa, and once again they delivered. Alex's left-handed serve was creating angles that opponents simply weren't prepared for. Her forehand was relentless, keeping the baseline player pinned deep and constantly under pressure. And then there was Janice at the net, soft hands, lightning reflexes, reading the play before it happened and putting volleys away with a kind of clinical precision that belied just how new this partnership actually was. They knocked out the second seeds, walked into the semifinals. The semifinal against Miriam Bulgaru and Olivia Nichols brought a reality check. The physical toll of 2 consecutive giant-killing performances had started to show. Bulgaru and Nichols were sharp, systematic, and experienced enough to exploit any drop in intensity. Alex and Janice fought hard, stayed close in the first set before going down 6-4, but the second set slipped away 6-2. It stung, of course it did. But here's what actually happened. In their very first tournament together as a brand new doubles team, Alex and Janice reached the semifinals of a WTA 500 event. That's not a consolation story, that's a massive achievement. The loss was a lesson, and lessons at that level are how champions are built. Now let's zoom out to the singles because that side of the story is just as important. Alex came into Abu Dhabi ranked at a career-high world number 45, making her the first Filipino player in history to crack the WTA top 50. Let that land for a second. She's not just playing at this level, she's breaking records at this level. And she backed it up in Abu Dhabi, beating Zainal Sims in the first round with controlled, composed tennis, then coming from behind to beat Alexandra Sesnovic in the round of 16, before ultimately bowing out in the quarterfinals to Katerina Alexandrova, drained after playing both singles and doubles at an elite level simultaneously. Quarterfinals of singles, semifinals of doubles, at a WTA 500. Janice's singles run ended earlier, a tough second-round loss to the powerful Lyudmila Samsonova, but her presence in that main draw at all is meaningful. Because just a few months earlier, Janice burst onto the global scene by qualifying for the US Open, and then reaching the quarterfinals of a WTA 250 event in Sao Paulo, Brazil, becoming the first Indonesian woman to reach a WTA quarterfinal in 20 years. And in Sao Paulo, she beat Alex. A 6-4, 6-1 win that wasn't just a result, it was Janice telling the tennis world she belongs. That match established the mutual respect that now defines the SEA-blings. They competed fiercely, they acknowledged each other's greatness, and then months later they showed up in Abu Dhabi ready to conquer it together. That kind of relationship, built on real competition and real admiration, is the foundation that lasts. So what does all of this mean going forward? Alex heads into the Qatar Total Energies Open, a WTA 1000 event, the next step up, carrying momentum, carrying attention, and carrying the weight of millions of fans watching to see if she can replicate what she did in Abu Dhabi against an even tougher field. Iga Swiatek, Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff. The draw doesn't get any softer. The question is whether she can compartmentalize all the noise, the vlog fame, the viral arrival, the spotlight, and just compete. The SEA-blings partnership will be on pause for now, but the story isn't going anywhere. Because what Alex and Janice are building goes way beyond tournament results and ranking points. They are actively, deliberately dismantling a ceiling that has kept Southeast Asian tennis players from seeing themselves at the very top of this sport. For any young girl in Manila or Jakarta picking up a racket for the first time, the question used to be, does someone who looks like me, sounds like me, comes from where I come from, do they actually make it to this level? The answer used to require a lot of explaining. Now, they just have to watch the vlog. That representation is not symbolic, it's practical. It changes how young players train, how ambitiously they dream, and how seriously local sports federations are forced to invest in them. And it changes because 2 young women decided to be genuine in their tennis and on camera. The SEA-blings have shocked the world with their arrival. That part's already done. But here's what I genuinely believe: the biggest moments are still ahead of them. I want to hear from you now. When you watched that arrival video, what was your reaction? Do you think Alex and Janice have the chemistry to genuinely challenge for a Grand Slam doubles title this season? And how deep do you see Alex going in Qatar against the very best in the world? Drop it all in the comments. This story is moving fast, and we're going to be right here, covering every serve, every volley, and yes, every vlog update as it unfolds.